Hi everyone, it's me again, and I've got a different sort of video planned for you all today. I'm going to be talking about or ranking Burlington Northern's diesel motive power. Now, I have to say Burlington Northern is one of my favorite railroads of all time, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to rank all of their diesels and just give my thoughts about each of one of them. And quick disclaimer out of the way, these are my viewpoints, so you can agree or disagree, whichever one works, whichever one either makes sense or works for you based on look or how they function or something. So it's I'm not gonna worry about that. It's just gonna be just how I think they look and compared to others. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First up, switchers. Now the switchers, I do like end cap switchers, but I haven't really given Burlington Northern's much thoughts, and when I looked at it, they had a large fleet of switchers, ranging from SW8s, SW9s, SW1200s, SW15s, even MP15s. So yeah, that list is long, and I kind of congealed into the ones that they had the biggest groups of. So first up is the NW2. NW2 is pretty good, I think, but kind of not my favorite switcher, so this is probably going to go into, I would say, B tier. And then the SW1200, I would say probably around the same, B tier. Next up, F units. Now the F units, I think it's interesting that they had them. They didn't have F3s, but they had F7s and F9s. So I think the Cascade Green looks pretty good on a F unit, but I also think the Grinstein scheme looks better on the F unit than the Cascade Green does. So I'm gonna give the F7 B tier, and the F9 A tier. And now, time for E units. Particularly they had E8s and E9s. Some worked in the Chicago area. These two, I honestly did not know that they did one in silver or gray. I think that's probably gray, but yeah, that's actually quite interesting. So yeah, I'll have to see. So as for the E9s, I knew they ran them in kind of commuter service, I guess you could say. So I'm not sure how I feel about the white and red stripes in the front. I just don't know how that, I guess the colors don't really line up that good, at least to me. So I think for the E8, I'm gonna put in B tier. And E9 I'm going to put in C tier. Okay, SD7s are next. SD7s, I do like the SD series diesels as a whole, but the high nose just doesn't really look that good. So SD7, again, not really much information on them for much. So I'm going to put them in C tier. SD9s, again, probably the same story. SD24s. These are I think look a little bit better. I think these look a little bit kind of better looking than the SD9s. So I'm gonna probably give them B tier. First up is the GP7. I think the GP7 is a good diesel. It's not my favorite GP series diesel, but it's pretty high on that list. So GP7 is probably going in, I would say, B tier. GP9 is I think is a little bit better than the GP7, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. Next up, GP20s. The GP20, it's an interesting one. I'm not really particularly a big fan of the GP20. I think the rounded roof with the low nose makes me think of a rebuilt GP9, or maybe the other way around, I guess you could say. But yeah, I'm just really not a big fan of the GP20s all that much. So they're going in C tier. Next is the GP35. GP35 I think is a good diesel. I like it. It's a good solid. I like the look of it. It's great. So I'm gonna put it in A tier. Now GP38. Yeah, this is a good one too. So it's going up right in A tier next to the GP35. Now GP50. I would say I've not really taken a deep dive into the GP50 that much compared to the other, like the GP40s and all that. And I'm not sure if I know the Tiger Stripe they did quite a bit. I just don't know how I feel about that with the orange and the black stripe. I mean, I can see what Burlington Northern was going for with the visibility and all that. So, but I guess not all of them had it. I know they experimented with that scheme. So, I guess not all didn't have that. But I guess for that, it's gonna go into B tier. Up next is the B30-7. I'll say these I have not really given too much thought on, I'll be honest, but I think the B30-7 is a pretty solid looking diesel with the Ford truck. I just don't think the Ford truck is as good as the C truck version. But overall, I think a pretty good looking diesel. Again, B tier. The B30-7AB booster units. These, I believe, were inherited to Burlington Northern, that being requested to have on order for booster units. So, I mean, I've seen trains with this kind of unit in them. I mean, I don't know how I feel about the look of it personally. So, but I guess it is just a booster. It's not made to be at the front. So, but I just don't know how I feel about that look. So, C tier. Up next, U25C. Oh boy, I'll be honest, I do not like the look of these. First of all, the trucks, I do not like the style of the trucks that much. To me, they're just too. It's too much, and the one-piece windshield makes me think of the GP20s and the Alco RS27. So for me, that it doesn't really, I don't really care for it that much, to be honest. So that's going in D tier. I don't really like it. Up next is an Alco C630. I think the C630 I've kind of grown to like these diesels, actually. I mean, Burlington Northern I've not seen much. I didn't find out until recently that Burlington Northern had these. But yeah, I've kind of grown to liking these diesels, so I'm gonna put these in A tier. Next up, U30Cs. U30Cs are pretty good. Is a pretty good diesel. I like the look of it, and yeah, I think it's really good. So with this, I'm gonna put it in B tier. Up next is SDP40. These are kind of interesting, actually. I know these were originally part of the Great Northern. Then they went to BN. I'm not sure if they had steam generators or head end power generators on the back, but I think it's a good, a kind of solid looking diesel. I like the shape of it. I like the design of it, and yeah, it's not bad given the limited amount of that were made for it. So overall, A tier. SD40-2s. Okay, I gotta say this right now. If you were to give me any kind of diesel of all time, in fact, if you were to ask me what my favorite or one of my favorite diesels would be, I would almost immediately say SD40-2s. I love the look of the SD40-2s, the long platforms, the sound of the 645 prime mover, and just overall the design of it. I really like. It's reliable. It's a great workhorse. It really gets things done. So S tier. F45. Now these are interesting. I kind of forgot that BN had F45s. I think these were originally from the Great Northern. But if not, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, these are. I think the Cascade Green looks pretty good on the F45. It's just kind of not used to seeing them on freight trains, so probably not as highly as the others. So this is going into B tier. The GE U33Cs. These are interesting ones too. These are pretty good ones too. I know BN had a good sized fleet of them, and they have 3,300 horsepower. But yeah, these are good. I like the winged radiators at the back, and the whole design of it's really good. So I would say these are probably gonna go in S tier. Next up is C30-7. Again, with the winged radiators at the back. These are the great design too. I like the design of these probably more than the 4-axle version with the B30-7. So yeah, these I will, I guess, gawk over. So these are great. These I like to look over. S tier. EMD SD45. I like the SD45. I think it's a nice powerhouse of a diesel. It does a lot of the heavy hauling, I guess you could say, and I like the flared radiators at the back. It's really good, and I think just overall, I think a nice looking diesel in my book. So I'm gonna give S tier. Standard cab SD60. Now these, I know Burlington Northern only had 3 of them, and they all had the experimental tiger stripe scheme. I mean, overall, I think the SD60 is a nice looking diesel with the design of it and the shape of it. Looks great. But with Burlington Northerns, it's I don't know, I mean, it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't in the tiger stripe scheme, but the orange, the black, I mean, I can see where they went with it, like the GP50s, and then I can see where they were going with it. But for me, the colors just don't look good together with the green and the orange and the black. It's just kind of it's kind of, for me, it's kind of distracting, and it doesn't flow or kind of unify together with the green and the Cascade Green and black. So honestly, I'm gonna put these at C tier. Next up, the SD60 Max. Now I know these were normal SD60Ms experimentally fitted with AC traction motors. I mean, I think the scheme actually looks quite good. I mean, I think it's an interesting with that, I guess you could say, lime green with the white, and I know there's a lot more white involved and all that. I mean, I think it's a good one, but I know they only had 3 of them, But in terms of the look of it and the idea of it, I think I'm gonna put them in A tier. Those are good. Alright, SD60Ms. Now these are some of my favorite diesels ever on the BN. These I like. I'm kind of torn between the two in terms of the Triclops and the two-piece teardrop windshield. I don't know. They're kind of equals. But I almost don't know which one I like more. I mean, it's tough. But I'm kind of a sucker for the Triclops look. It's just different, and it's just, I guess it's just different. It's unique. It's kind of thing compared to the teardrops. I know other railroads have used that design before, so but this is a close one. These two are the two designs here with these of the SD60M is very close. I'm gonna have to put the Triclops in S tier and the two-piece window in A tier. Just the uniqueness of this with the Triclops just barely squeaks above better for me. So yeah, that's why I put them there. And finally, SD70 Max. These are good. I know these. I'm glad these lasted into BNSF right now, and I think the Grinstein scheme looks really good on them. So I think these are really good diesels. The SD70 Max is great. I think it's a very powerful diesel. It's very good. I'm glad that they put them on coal trains along with the others. So yeah, I like the Grinstein scheme. Very good design. The headlights above is great. The overall design is just really solid. I like it a lot. So S tier. So yeah, that's almost all the BN's motive power them ranked. That's how I would put them all. That's all them from best to worst for me. But yeah, I hope all of you enjoyed this video, and yeah, again, these are just my thoughts. You can agree or disagree with them however you want. Let me know in the comments below what you think about them. I'd love to hear them, and hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you everyone next time.